Hey, gang, welcome in. It's Courtside Countdown. Jake Chapman here with you, the radio voice of the Orlando Magic. Dan Savage is in Charlotte, North Carolina. You know him from OrlandoMagic.com. And we are still basking in the afterglow of Dwight night last night. Dwight Howard becoming the 13th member of the Orlando Magic Hall of Fame. It was very therapeutic. There were tears, there was laughter, there was everything in between. And then on top of that, you get a big win and a season sweep for the first time since 2018, 2019 over the Los Angeles Lakers. 118-106 was the final score. And I've been doing this for a long time, Dan. It's hard to top the emotions of the entire day yesterday. Throw Franz Wagner's bobblehead on top of all of that. And we just kind of packed it all in. That was a very, very enjoyable night. Dwight joined us. Yes, exactly. I love that one. The kind of the pro wrestler. It sort of took me back to the Ultimate Warrior days. That was a heck of a night, Dan. And we'll talk about Charlotte. And obviously, everything sort of goes sideways if you don't get this one against a Charlotte team that's really struggling right now. But boy, what a day! What a night! It was awesome seeing Dwight. I feel like a lot of demons were exercised yesterday, and then on top of all that, you knock off not just the Lakers, but with LeBron and with Luka Doncic, and a Lakers team that sort of needed that one after getting dropped by the Bulls over the weekend. An awesome night at the Kia Center last night, Dan Savage.
Yeah, the vibes were great, as the kids would say. Dwight, it all started off with a great evening with Dwight Howard. Really, emotional. You could feel how much it meant to him and how special it was to be the 13th inductee into the Magic Hall of Fame. Visible tears talking about his family, his relationship with coaches, teammates, etc. And I thought the one thing about Dwight was he was just really reflective and looked back very fondly on his time in Orlando. And look, there's regret there over time of decisions he made. But at the same time, life teaches you lessons. And he learned a lot of lessons from going away. He's built up a great family now. And it's really exciting to see him come back and be celebrated. The fans at Kia Center did a great job of that. The Magic staff that brought him in and ownership that met with him all did a good job of setting up a special evening. And then most importantly, the play on the court backed it up, because obviously a night like that could be spoiled if things go sideways. And the Magic certainly put on a performance worthy of one of the best players in Magic franchise history being honored.
Yeah, make sure you guys hit us up on the comment section on the YouTube page. We'll try to get to any questions or comments you may have, or taking a look at some of the highlights from last night. The third time this season that both Paolo and Franz go for 30-plus points in the same game, the fourth time for their careers, and they were phenomenal. Dan, obviously the offensive consistency is something we're still searching for. But if you have a game, and I had to do the math like 5 times, they were 22 of 43 combined. It's tricky because Franz was 13 of 26, and then Paulo was 9 of 17. 26 plus 17 makes my head explode. I don't know why, but it's 43 is what 26 plus 17 equals. But they were so good last night together. You got another nice performance from Anthony Black off the bench with 17 points. But what did you see? It was, I think, refreshing, because Paulo's been doing yeoman's work we're talking about MVP caliber play since the All-Star break for Paolo Banchero. It was 17 shots for him last night, 26 for Franz Wagner. Franz kind of picking his spots, and with all the attention being paid to Paolo Banchero right now, as we get a look at him getting ready for this one tonight against the Hornets, all the attention being paid to him, Franz is going to have opportunities to have nights like he did last night, and he absolutely delivered last night.
No, and I could trust that the Hornets coaching staff is more aware of their efficiency metrics than our math skills would indicate at times. But, I thought Luka Doncic, JJ Redick yesterday both touched on those two are special. And any game plan that you come up with to try to slow down the Magic starts with trying to limit those two. And even when you do a good job of being in the right place, they both possess skills to negate any defensive team. And we saw that last night. Powell was very physical, and then at times had his step back game going. Franz was exceptional at turning the corner in stretches and really gaining a step and getting to the basket, finishing with his right hand. If you give him that, he's going to take advantage and pick you apart. The Lakers did in stretches, and Franz made him pay.
Wagner able to catch it in traffic. Wow. And pushed in the back by Vincent. Wagner up the right wing. Crosses over, gets into the lane. Off the glass and in.
It's a nice job by Franz pulling up a little bit early. They were coming.
Caldwell Pope swings it to Joseph in the corner. Wagner for three. Got it.
Especially at this age when everything's sort of new for them, they're sort of staking their claim within the franchise, out on the floor, in the league, in the public consciousness. Everybody, those two guys want to be alphas, but it's always helpful to know that if it's a night where maybe you don't have it, you got somebody who can pick up the slack, and certainly there's a whole lot of mutual respect between those two. I think you see it play it out in games like last night. And real quick, because we're going to hear from Coach Mosley here in a moment, but real quick, I want to talk about Anthony Black off the bench last night. Another 17 points. You realize, and this is Brandon Kravitz pulled this one, last 9 times Anthony Black has scored in double digits. The Magic are 9-0 in those games. And so we know right now how important it is to find some help off the bench. AB has been doing it consistently as of late. Wendell Carter Jr. last night, Dan, and I know you were locked in on this as well. His defense, Coach Mosley had a great game plan, but Wendell's defense, they were pre-switching a whole lot of stuff. Boy, he was holding his own out on the perimeter against LeBron, against Luka. But one of the best games we've seen from Wendell on the defensive side of the ball last night. You hold an LA team to 106 points. He was absolutely crucial to that effort last night.
No question, Jake. When Wendell's at his best defensively, he is tough because he is very versatile. He can switch out to a number of guys. And you look at big body guys like Luka and LeBron who can pick apart a number of fives in this league. Wendell was not letting them have their way with him. And that's a special skill set that he has. If he's playing it that way consistently, he is a very dangerous player on the defensive end. And we know at times he can clean up the glass. He had some big threes in that game. That's kind of Wendell we need to see consistently. We play at that level. All right, he is a special player.
All right, we got some comments coming in here. Let's see. Vikram says, I just wish we won a title beating them. Yeah, that would have been awesome, Vikram, for sure. Yes, I think we all would have been locked in on that. I've got a question about Cole's availability tonight. He's going to be out again tonight with that toe injury. And look, I think the toe is literally the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot else going on with Cole Anthony's body, so we got to get him right coming down the stretch here. But Corey Joseph has been, in the month of March, Dan, 21 minutes per game for Corey Joseph. He's turned the ball over 3 times. He's so efficient. We've talked a lot about him, you and I, but very comfortable with him in the starting lineup, to be sure. We know that obviously Paulo and Franz are, and I think eventually you get Cole back and you'll have a decision to make. We need Cole in there. We need him as a part of the attack. But I think right now, I mean, you're seeing some pretty positive results offensively with Kojo in there. He can hold his own defensively as well. So I think you're okay until you get Cole back.
No question. And we talked about Corey Joseph being efficient on the court, off the court as well. Knew the best game plan of how to navigate the DC locker room area. And then today, it comes up to me and they moved things around in Charlotte. He was the first to know that the media room wasn't where it was prior, and they had shifted things around and wanted to know where he could get his pregame coffee, figured it out. I think there's some range. I talked to him a little bit about how much he could go pregame, sometimes 1, sometimes up to 3 cups, Corey Joseph. So you wonder why he's pushing the pace. It's those pregame coffee that get him going a little bit. And he has them all at different temperatures. He'll start off with a cool one, then kind of go medium, and then a hot one to finish. So you're kind of like got the Goldilocks, the pregame coffee going, and that's the kind of inside baseball stuff that you'll only get on a Courtside Countdown.
I'm going to need a full workup on this, on Corey Joseph's the coffee intake, the different temperatures. Are we doing creamer? Are we a black type of guy? That is good stuff.
Black,
that's some good
maybe a little sugar
stuff
in there, but we'll find out. I'm slowly peeling back this onion, and we had a big debate of temperature of coffee, ice versus hot. He has to go hot, even though he cools it down early. If he's only doing 1 cup, he'll drink it at 3 different stages. There's a lot going on there. But
we're seeing LaMelo Ball warm up right now.
He's not prepared for this Corey Joseph coffee.
I don't care what Dewberry tells me. I want to hear about the coffee. That's the bottom line. Ball warm. warming up. Jake Chapman here with you, Dan Savage. It's been a fun couple of days, and I know Jason Duvernay is absolutely sick of me driving the train off the tracks. LaMelo Ball, Dan. Obviously, your scouting report starts with this guy.
Started my preview off with that guy.
Well, he's a chucker. I'm going to say it. I mean, the guy. And first off, this will be the fourth matchup of the season. Magic looking for a season sweep. We went 3-1 against Charlotte last year. LaMelo played in 2 games against us. Those were the 2 back in November. We didn't see him in February. 39.5 points per game versus us. He's shooting 52% from the field in those 2 games. Now, granted, they took the L both those nights. Dan, this guy shoots the second most shots in the league, over 21 field goal attempts per night. Only Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the eventual MVP, takes more shots than he does. And then of the 7 guys in the league who take more than 20 shots a night, only one of them is sub 43% from the field. It's LaMelo Ball, and he's way down at about 40% from the field. So we know LaMelo Ball can fill it up. We know a lot of people enjoy watching him play. Not the most efficient basketball player, to be sure, but still a lot of meat on that bone. He is 23 years old and could be something special real soon. But you got to just try to slow it down tonight. What are a few keys defensively you think to slow down LaMelo Ball?
Yeah, you have to pick him up right off the bat because he puts up 11 3-point attempts per game. So he's a guy that'll put it up, as you say, from all over the floor. And the thing with him is he's a stat sheet stuffer. One of 7 players in the NBA averaging over 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. Those assist totals closer to 7 and above. So he could kill you in a number of ways. And he's the type of guy that is totally a trap in a hangover type of game because if you play slow play with him, he'll pick you apart. So, yeah, this is not a game where you could have a lackluster energy level because this Hornets team will play with pace, starting with the head of the snake in LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, they haven't been great post All-Star break, but they are going to try to hang 130 on you, and he is a guy who we know can hang 40 on you. Miles Bridges, obviously, has been very effective as well. Really, he's been their top scorer here in the month of March. Coach Mosley gave us the game plan a little bit ago, and I think we have that video ready. Let's roll it.
Coach, last night, obviously, was a lot of emotions. Person being put in the Hall of Fame, Lakers, etc. How do you avoid, a hangover from that time from the second night of a back-to-back after that type of environment?
Yeah, I think you just focus it one game at a time. You go back to that mentality. Understanding last night was last night, and we said it post-game, talking to the guys in the locker room, making that statement, saying, understanding that, yes, we can enjoy this win and all the celebration that happened tonight, but when we hop on that plane to Charlotte, we've got to focus on Charlotte.
Last season, your postseason positioning from having a home game to start the playoffs to being on the road was decided, by a game or less. With the loss here, that perhaps decided, all these games down the stretch could determine whether you're, hosting perhaps a playing game, etc. Do you harken back to that at all before a game like this?
Dan, you must have been in our meeting because I think these are really the things that we discussed and we talk about it and the seriousness of it and what it means to these moments. And you don't want to look back and say, I wish I would have, could have, and should have done. So you need to make sure you take care of the games that you're supposed to, knowing that Charlotte is playing good basketball, understanding what they have and what they're capable of, knowing what happened last year in these moments, being able to take care of business.
What is it right now that is really clicking for you guys and just trusting your game and trusting your teammates play a factor in that as well?
I think what the guys have all continued to talk about and experience is just continue to put that work in to understand exactly what they're capable of doing, the confidence that they have in one another, the group together. We're pushing the pace a little bit more. The fast break points last night came up big, but our ability to play faster with more intention into how we're getting to the lane, as well as how we're finding open shooters because the defenses are collapsing.
How are Cole and TQ progressing?
Cole will not be available tonight. TQ will be available tonight.
Yeah, as you look at what Paolo and Franz are doing right now, how special is it to have a duo like that at your disposal as you're going into a stretch run?
I think it's big. It's what we've asked them to do. It's the responsibility that they take on. And, listening to Franz, post game last night and talking about Paolo and the trust that they have within one another, the chemistry that they have in one another, the way they communicate. It says a lot, that your two best players have that chemistry with one another, and then that, feeds into how the group, holds together and how they continue to communicate with one another.
Flip side for this Hornets team, what are the things you want to see out of your group to be prepared for?
First and foremost, you have to get back in transition. A running team that gets out on the break. LaMelo, the way in which he plays with speed, pace, leading the league almost in getting threes up per game, 11 per game. So our ability to pick up early, do that without fouling, finish possessions out with the rebound, and be able to get out on the break ourselves just to continue that pace game, but not make it a back and forth, just try to score the ball game, but getting stops to get out and run.
All right, there you go, Coach Mosley giving you the game plan for tonight. Welcome back. Jake Chapman here with you. I am in the juice box here at the Kia Center, our studios, as we get set for the Charlotte Hornets here tonight. Pre-game show in about 15 minutes on our flagship station, 96.9 The Game. You can always stream us on the Orlando Magic or iHeartRadio app. Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com, is on the scene in Charlotte, North Carolina, as the Magic get set for the fourth and final matchup with the Hornets this season. 3 so far this year, 3-1. Last year against Charlotte. Make sure you guys hit us up. We got some questions coming in. First of all, a lot of what we're seeing, Dan, is focus. Focus, fellas. Don't overlook them. That's from Duval. Let's see. JP Blazer says if they play like they've been playing, we can get the win. I don't want to see any BS tonight. I'll just say this because I want to talk about LaMelo Ball here in a moment and some matchup stuff. But Dan, like we said at the top of the broadcast, after last night, this is definitely an emotional letdown spot. Coach Mosley said, none of this means anything if we go to Charlotte and don't take care of business. This is kind of a must-win game. You got to have this one, not just because of the standings, but to make last night feel real, right?
No question. And that's kind of what my line of questioning opening up with Jamal Mosley was, as the fans just heard, was not only do you have to avoid a hangover performance, but you also look back to last season. When you look at where the Magic finished, whether they were hosting a playoff series with the Cavaliers or on the road, it came down to one game. And right before that final stretch, they lost a road game right here in Charlotte that perhaps cost the Magic a chance to host the Cavaliers in the playoffs.
Great point.
And had they won that game and you're hosting the Cavaliers, could that playoff series have gone different? The home team won every one of those games. Now you're talking about potentially being in the play-in this year. You're trying to match up with the Atlanta Hawks. Are you going to host both play-in games if you have to play two? Or are you going to start off on the road? You don't want to do that. So hopefully for the Magic, they learn their lesson. They win this game. They handle business. And that could perhaps be the difference between whether they host Atlanta for that first play-in game or perhaps have to go on the road.
Great point. You're a game and a half behind Atlanta for the 7th seed right now. You see them twice in the final 4 games of the season. Right now it's 1-1 the season series. This game matters as well because of the divisional record, which would be the tiebreaker if you finish with the same record head-to-head and the same overall record with Atlanta. And they play against the Rockets tonight, who's been playing great basketball, as we know. So there's a chance you're a half game back if you take care of business and if Houston is able to get that one against Atlanta. Before we go, we had a question here. I forget who asked it. Oh, no. Where did it go? I'll give them credit. Oh, Will. Of course it was Will. Who gets the LaMelo assignment tonight? Is it Franz? Franz and KCP, I think, would make the most sense to start on LaMelo, right, Dan?
Yeah, I think you want to show a guy like that a number of different looks, and those guys both give him the opportunity. And then coming off the bench, I think we'll see Anthony Black on him some too as well. So with a guy like LaMelo, you have to be willing to pick him up full court at times. You want to show a series of different looks. You want to bring bodies to him at times, blitz him. You're gonna have to do all those things, and at the same time, honor Miles Bridges, who has 3 games this month alone of 35 plus points. So you have 2 big threats there. In my opinion, if you handle those 2 guys, you'll be in a good position to win this game as long as you bring the right energy level and focus, which I expect from the Magic.
Yeah, last 10 games, Miles Bridges over 24 points per game, over 8 rebounds a game, over 4 assists per game. We know he's an absolute load. But you're right. It's a good point, too, about Anthony Black. I would expect to see him draw on LaMelo a lot tonight. They're basically the same body shape. They're both 6'7". I think AB's got about 10, 15 pounds on LaMelo. But, if I could build a defender for LaMelo Ball, he would look a lot like Anthony Black, certainly. So should be a good one tonight. We appreciate, of course, everybody for hopping on. Courtside Countdown. It's been a busy 48 hours here in Magic Land. But Dan, thank you for joining me as always. Make sure you check out all of Dan and Josh Cohen's coverage on OrlandoMagic.com. Make sure you lock in on the audio broadcast tonight. Pre-game show at 6:30 on our flagship station, 96.9 The Game here in Central Florida. You can stream on the iHeartRadio app, on the Orlando Magic app, and if you're outside of the listening area, you can check us out on NBA League Audio Pass or on Sirius XM as well. Jake Chapman, Dan Savage, signing off. Go Magic.